Hey guys, what's up? It's CJ. I just got back from the Trans Health Center where I went to get my testosterone prescription, and I wanted to make an update to let everyone know how that went. Um, it was super easy. It couldn't have been easier. And in 2 weeks, pending my lab results coming back, all good, I should have my testosterone delivered to my door, which is awesome. Um, I thought I should make a video about it because I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends who are on testosterone have had a hard time acquiring it. It took them a long time. So I really wanted to let everyone know how great the Trans Health Center I went to was, and I assume probably all Trans Health Centers are similar to that because they're designed to, make the process easy for, you know, gender non-conforming people and to eliminate some of the barriers that queer people and people of color and poor people and trans people often face, and that's kind of the idea of most of these clinics. So I think it's a really great option. Basically, what I had to do is I called, I made an appointment. It took them maybe 2 or 3 weeks to get me in. I showed up on the day of my appointment, filled out some pretty basic paperwork. It was, your health background, your date of birth, that sort of stuff. They drew blood, and then I had to have like a gynecological exam, which was super uncomfortable for me. Then they asked me if I had any questions. I told them that, I'd prefer gel and a low dose. They said that was no problem, and that was it. I was kind of in and out of there. They didn't ask me any questions. I didn't have to justify myself in any way. The only kind of real question they had, I guess, pertaining to whether or not I could get T was in the paperwork that I filled out. They asked how long I had lived in the gender that I identify as. I think that's how they worded it. I think the intention maybe is to make sure that you have some real life experience living as male prior to transitioning, but that's not the way it was worded. So, I've lived in the gender that I identify as all my life. I'm not really sure how to answer that. I put something like 8 years. I just put something kind of random. I've certainly identified as butch for longer than that. So that's what I wrote down. They didn't even really seem to look over the paperwork, though. They just went straight from that to drawing blood and then doing the exam. I guess you have to have, they told me like a breast exam, but I told them I already have top surgery, so they nixed that. So I guess you'd have to have that if you haven't had top surgery. But they were really nice about the exam. They were very aware of how uncomfortable that can be for some people. So they kind of talked me through it in kind of vague terms so as not to make me uncomfortable in any way. And then it was a very like consent-based exam. They said numerous times, they were like, if at any point you want us to stop, you just say stop. We'll immediately stop the exam and we'll document that we attempted it. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it. They made me feel very comfortable, which made me really happy because I'm a big consent advocate in medical situations, sexual situations, any kind of situation. I think consent is super important. So I really like that aspect of it. But they didn't check my ID. Not that I'm in any way advocating that underage people should go try to acquire testosterone, but they didn't check my ID. They didn't check anything. They only accept Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance, which I don't have, but it was a flat $230 fee, which, it's a lot of money, but not compared to, a normal doctor visit. A lot of doctors won't take you if you don't have insurance. So that, that's nice that they'll take you with or without it. But also, when I didn't have insurance, I had to go get blood drawn one time. And I think I paid like over $300 just to get my blood drawn. I wasn't even seeing a doctor. I just went to like a lab and had my blood drawn. So, I thought it was a very reasonable price. That includes everything, not the testosterone prescription, but everything else is covered in that $230. All the lab fees, everything. So it's pretty awesome. And I feel really good, too, about my money going to support a trans center as opposed to like lining the pocket of some rich doctor. So yeah, it was a super easy process. I have the forms that I have to sign or had to sign to get my prescription, and they're pretty basic. They just say, like, don't take tea if you're pregnant or breastfeeding or have heart disease that's uncontrolled. It tells you expect it to lower your voice, change hair growth, add muscle mass, expect clitoral enlargement. It lists some side effects like nausea, vomiting, headaches, aggressiveness, male pattern baldness, and acne. And then some drug indications. And then you have to sign something saying that you'll come back every year and that you'll get your blood checked every 3 months for the first year and every year after that. I'm not planning to be on it for that long, so I probably won't have to deal with all that, but still signed everything saying that if I stay on it, I intend to do all of that. Otherwise, they stop your prescription. But you don't have to go there to have your blood drawn. So I drove like 5 hours to get to a trans health center because to me it was worth it to avoid the hassle of trying to find a doctor and talk them into giving me a tea prescription. So I drove like 5 hours. It's nice to know that I really only have to make that drive once. So even if the nearest trans health center to you is 2 days away, if it's the same as the one I went to, then you only have to go one time. And after that, you have to get your blood checked, but you can get it checked locally and just have the results sent to them. So it's really no big deal. They do require a gynecological visit every 5 years, I think, or until you have a hysterectomy. So that's really not a big deal. It might be more often if you have male partners. I'm not sure. I don't. I only have female sexual partners. So they said because of that, it's only required every 5 years. So so you'd have to go every 5 years, I guess, or just get a checkup near you and have the results sent to them, and they'll keep filling your prescription. Pretty awesome. A lot easier than a lot of my friends have had. I had one friend who had to see a psychiatrist or a psychologist maybe for a year prior to getting his prescription. I don't know if the psychologist required that or if his doctor required that. I'm not sure. That's a long time to come out of pocket to see a psychiatrist. I've also had buddies that just kind of, got drilled to make sure that they were trans enough and ready for all the changes. And then a lot of friends didn't kind of have the same choices. I told them what I wanted, and they were like, yeah, great, low dose androgel, no problem, whatever you want, cream, gel, shot, it's cool. And I chose the cream. I had one friend whose doctor insisted on giving him the shots once a month, which was awful because he had big highs and lows. And some doctors just don't give you the same agency that you have at a clinic that's kind of designed to help out the trans and queer community. So I think it's awesome. I think it's a good choice. And also, they call your prescription into a mail order pharmacy, so they send it right to your door, which is great. So you don't have to go to a pharmacy and deal with the awkwardness of getting your prescription when you don't pass as mail or when your gender marker doesn't say male. And I definitely had a friend who had a hard time with that once. The pharmacy didn't want to give him his meds because he wasn't male, and they were trying to get in touch with the doctor, but the doctor wasn't in that day, so he had to wait to get his prescription. I think he ended up waiting like 3 or 4 days, and his previous dose had run out, so that was kind of rough for him. I just think it's all around, it's awesome. So if you're having trouble getting a testosterone prescription, I definitely recommend Googling Trans Health Center, finding one near you, or as close to you as you can, and go for it, because it was the easiest thing I've ever done. A little uncomfortable, but super easy. So I will update again when my prescription comes in, and let everyone know how that goes. All right. See you guys soon.